Who has ever not done an interview for this long?
Yeah, and then I get why, because they get away with it. Look, they got a very compliant and incurious media for the most part, right? And they're just letting it go. Compliant.
But it's more than compliant.
I know. I'm trying to.
Yeah, you're trying to be nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice.
Complicit is a better word.
Yeah, and it's on CNN, and it's taped. So it's not even live.
Right.
And it's the two of them, and there is no way in hell. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a hard-hitting interview where they ask. I tell you what. Actually, what I would love to have them ask first is, okay, Vice President. I guess you have to say, Madam Vice President. How long were you aware of President Biden's mental decline?
Yes.
Because right up until the last minute, you were talking about how sharp his attack he was, and how vigorous he was, and how he was, better than men half his age. And what I don't understand is how people aren't marching on Washington with pitchforks and torches over the fact that this small group, her and who else? Anita Dunn, the chief of staff over at the White House, Klain, a variety of that cabal's not that big, of people who had daily contact with President Biden. And they just lied to the American public for a significantly long time. They just deceived the American public, and nobody seems to give a shit, right?
Well, it's also, why was anyone believing it?
Right.
That's what was crazy.
Right.
And we were getting shit on left and right during the campaign, where I was like, when I compared him, I said, Biden being president is like having a flashlight with a bad battery and going for a long walk in the woods. There's no fucking way.
Banging on it, and it's not working.
Make it.
Yeah.
And people were saying, no, don't you know he stutters? And they were saying all the. Well, there's no evidence of him stuttering when he was younger. This is crazy.
Yeah,
There's a mental decline there. There's nothing wrong with mental decline. We're all going to experience it someday, kids.
Yeah.
But to say that it's not happening just because you don't want the other side to win is bananas.
Yeah,
it's
and
really
that's what
crazy.
it was. Anytime you called it out, because we all saw it, like you said, we're all heading in that direction. It's probably the one thing we all have in common. And we all know what it looks like. Everyone's got aging parents or aging grandparents.
Yes.
And so we knew it intuitively, right? Every time you saw him and he made a slip up or he faltered or he just kind of started staring off into space or he moved the way that he was moving, like you've seen your grandpa move, we knew it. But if you dared bring it up, you were just kicked in the ass, right? And suddenly somehow you were ageist and you were hyper partisan and you were just and you were MAGA and you were
the epitome of gaslighting.
Yeah,
gaslighting to the extreme, because it was so obvious and in your face. It's like, no, it's not raining out. Like, what? It's fucking pouring. Like, what are you talking about? Full gaslighting right in front of your face.
Yeah, and so that I would love that to be the very first question. Can you explain to us at what point in time you actually became aware that he was in significant mental decline, right? And again, I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for anybody who's in that position. Right?
Sure.
But he's the fucking commander-in-chief, right? He's the leader of the free world. So I think we have a right to expect more from that situation. But I don't think there's going to be none of those questions.
His last fuck you was saying that he wants Harris to take his place. That was his last fuck you, because from what I understand, they wanted to have a primary, and they wanted to pick their own person, and they didn't want to have Harris.
Yeah, she was nobody's idea of the best, most competent, most qualified candidate up until they orchestrated this, whatever you want to call it, anointment or coronation or
coup.
Call it a coup.
Call it a coup. It seems like a coup.
Yeah. So until that point, she wasn't the preferred, but now she's fucking Beyonce and Joan of Arc and
well, she had that one speech where she really fucking nailed it when she was talking about Trump, and this is after Trump even got shot, when she didn't even address the fact that we have to be more tolerant and
You mean that teleprompter speech? Yeah.
That teleprompter speech, she fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
She nailed it. But when you get her off teleprompter, she's fucked.
Yeah.
She's fucked.
Well, I don't know this, and this is sheer speculation on my part, but I would be suspicious.
Love sheer speculation.
I know. As opposed to all the other times that I'm not speculating.
I don't need facts.
But there's a chance maybe that they will know the questions for tomorrow night's interview ahead of time.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Do you think CNN would do that?
You're right. I take it back because I'm sure it will be a series of hard-hitting questions, and they won't let her get away with anything, and it's all going to work out fine. Look, all she's got to do is beat the Biden debate bar, and people are going to say, yeah, she nailed it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're supposed to have a debate, right, on ABC. Which
September
is going to be
10th.
interesting.
Yeah.
And isn't the woman who moderates it a part of the Biden-Harris administration?
Oh, my God. I didn't know that.
Who is the woman? Was she have some sort of a connection to the Biden-Harris administration? The woman who is, find that out, Jamie. The woman who's moderating the ABC debate.
Is it Joe Biden?
You did great, Joe. You answered all the questions. And what did he do? He lied. Poor bastard.
God,
that
yeah.
poor bastard. If that was my dad, I'd be so fucking angry at her. I'd be like, what are you doing to Dad?
They're just dragging him around, right? Up until that moment, just drag him around and hope
juicing him up with Adderall and having him talk or whatever they're giving him.
Yeah.
I want to try what he's getting.
Good.
Oh,
it's got to
boy.
be good, right?
It's got to be tremendous. Imagine if you have a day when you're kind of tired and sleepy and your brain's not working that good.
Yeah. It is remarkable that when you look at what's happened over the past month and a half, I mean, nobody, it doesn't seem, because, again, the media is playing along with this. Nobody's asking questions. Who's running the free world? Who's making the decisions at the White House? It doesn't seem to be a major concern, right? Because,
which is bizarre.
Which is bizarre. But I get the Democrats, right? The Democrats are like, well, but Trump. Yeah, it's always their answer. But
right.
Trump. And when if I point out that maybe Harris, is somewhat of a midwit, but Trump, and so what is your argument back? I mean, what do you say? Well, look, maybe you should focus on just having the best qualified candidate rather than saying, well, we just gotta beat Trump.
Right.
And I don't know. It's not going to happen. But the fact that there's just nobody asking questions about things like that. When did you know that President Biden was in decline? Who was actually making the decisions?
Controversy surrounds ABC News anchor Lindsay Davis as debate moderator due to alleged bias against Trump. But doesn't she have some sort of a connection to the Biden or Harris administration?
Didn't see anything about that.
No.
Okay.
Who's Lindsay Davis? Find out who she is, and
that could be. It could be speculation on your part.
no, I read something, some connection that someone had made. I should have saved it.
I tried looking for that directly.
Huh.
Didn't see anything.
Yeah. So that's the 10th. But again, I would say that, hey, look, it's much like this. This upcoming interview, right? She just got to get through it without a major screw up. And I think they're going to say, look, she did it. She's had her interview. It's all good.
Yeah.
I just don't think that, people are that curious anymore.